some smart investments. I'm able to make, you know, 7 figures a month.
We're going to play from the beginning.
I'm truly blessed.
Last name I want to throw at you because people talk about it. He's a middleweight. You're a smallish. Could have gone the other way, right? Yeah.
It could have went either way. I'm not biased. I thought the guy came out and used his range, and my guy, you know, had good defense. But tonight it was a draw.
In the main event tonight, or co-main event, Andrew Tabiti, a fighter that you promote that we had not seen on Showbox before.
Yes.
He's only had 11
Just giving people time to gather in.
So obviously, you feel as his promoter.
This is what Floyd Mayweather said last night. Right now, it's
you know,
May 14th, 2016.
And good fights and great fights. We want to get the public and the people what they want to see. The people want to see great.
What he's saying now is not really important, but we're going to talk about basically the Mayweather-McGregor situation and the information that I've gathered and how I gathered that information. But let's listen to.
Yes. A week from tonight in Vegas.
Yes.
The two Charlo brothers and Erislandy Lara we'll be seeing 3 world championship fights at 154 pounds, all really top-notch 154-pounders. Your opinion on that night?
I'm happy. I'm very happy with all 3 guys, the Charlo brothers, Laros, all exciting fighters. And these 3 guys are the future of boxing. I mean, you got so many exciting fighters out there. Of course, Canelo is making a lot of noise at 154 and 160, but the Laros fight, Laros and Canelo could have went either way. So, you know, like I said before, Mayweather promotion, the only thing we want to do is to continue to bring people exciting boxing. That's what it's really about.
I got to ask you one question about promoting. You're never going to get a high like you do when you fight, obviously. Any fighter will tell you that. But in terms of promoting, does it ever frustrate you when you're watching one of your fighters? You can't all do what Floyd Mayweather can do, obviously. Nobody can.
Yes.
But do you see things and go, why couldn't he have slipped that much? Or why couldn't he have landed a left hook? Does it drive you crazy at times? Is it hard?
I'm on the other side now. So I look at things totally different. When I see a guy make a mistake, what I try to do is...
Now, there's a reason why I'm letting all this play, because for those who are watching this video after it's a live streaming video. So I want to give people time to get in, to join, so we can start, you know, really talking. But this is from last night.
Yes, I did. And then a couple of days later, let's start with Conor McGregor, because
this is important. Listen,
Floyd Mayweather, you said you started that rumor yourself, so that sounded like you're looking for a little attention, no?
Well, it's really not a rumor. The fight may happen. You know, we really don't know as of right now. But do I think the fight will happen? Absolutely.
Really? Are we talking a boxing match or an MMA match?
With the A side, of course, it has to be a boxing match, because most fights that Conor McGregor won inside that, you know, inside the octagon, he was a stand-up guy. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a tough fight for me. So we don't really know as of right now, but it's been a lot of talk, and hopefully we can make the fight happen.
You've been the best fighters in the world for 20 years, and you think a guy from MMA is going to give you a tough fight?
He's no pushover. One thing about Conor McGregor, he's no pushover. He fell short in his last bout, but a true champion can always bounce back. So that's a guy that I can't overlook. But you know, no numbers we haven't picked a venue. We haven't talked about money yet. And that's me.
Talking about 100 million, right?
I'm going to get 100 million.
I got $60 I can contribute right now.
Every time I go out, you know, that's my number. Every time I go out and get inside that square circle, it's 100 million or better.
All right, so June 25th, we know Porter's fighting Thurman. That's a big fight at welterweight. When you consider whether you're coming back or not, and you look at the possible opponents out there, money is a given. Your name is Money Mayweather. You're not going to fight unless the money is right. But that aside, how much do you look at what can the opponent bring in terms of your legacy? Is that important?
Well, I'm no longer a fighter. You know, I'm an entertainer, a businessman. And, you know, when I'm at home, when I sit back and I really think about it, even though I truly believe in my heart and my soul, and I know that I'm TBE, but being the best businessman on the outside is what I love more than being the best fighter inside.
So now you're TBD, the best businessman.
One of the best fighters to do business on the outside. You know, to be in this situation, and I made some smart investments. I'm able to make, you know, 7 figures a month for the rest of my life. So I'm truly blessed.
Last name I want to throw at you because people talk about it. He's a middleweight. You're a smallish welterweight, Triple G. Not gonna happen.
I just look at a situation like this. Sugar Ray Leonard, he jumped up in weight. Roberto Duran jumped up in weight. Oscar De La Hoya jumped up in weight. Floyd Mayweather jumped up in weight. Pernell Whitaker jumped up in weight. Roy Jones jumped up in weight. So many legendary champions jumped up in weight. I jumped up in weight. When is Triple G going to jump up in weight?
But you're the best.
I grew myself over and over again, and I'm not ducking and dodging Triple G, but I'm a businessman. And my focus right now, if I was to get inside a ring and compete, only guy I'm thinking about right now, business-wise, is Conor McGregor.
All right, so Conor McGregor or otherwise, last question. You cracked the window open a little bit with Jim Gray. From 0 to 100, what are the chances that we're going to see Floyd Mayweather in a ring in another fight?
50-50, 50-50. And I'm pretty sure we have to find a venue. We haven't spoke on certain terms. Well, I'm my boss on my end. You know, I don't know what Conor McGregor can do, but I'm pretty sure we can make it happen. If the fans demand the fight, we'll make it happen.
Nobody's demanding it.
Always a pleasure. We look forward to the rest of your show. And next week.
Listen, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor is happening, whether you like it or not. There's so many questions that we're going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it in chronological order because this is a live video and it's random and shit. But it's going to happen. People are asking, well, you know, how is Conor going to get out of his UFC contract and all kind of stuff like that? And, you know, will it be for the 50th fight? I'll say this the best way I can before I move forward. I said it in some videos in the past, but you get the best information, in my opinion, from the people who are close to the boxers themselves. The people who are sparring with the boxers, the people who are in the boxers' houses, the people, you know, who just, you know, I'll leave it at that. So I've done a little digging, and it's happening, you know. But then again, you don't need me to tell you. Go look at the videos. You know, Floyd Mayweather is telling you that it's happening. It's happening. Now, I believe it's a joke. I believe it should be like 6 rounds, 8 rounds, an exhibition, something that doesn't count toward Floyd Mayweather's record. Understand that at this point in time in Floyd Mayweather's career, at this point in time in his career, well, at this point in time in his life, you can't say career anymore. He told you himself, he's an entertainer. You know, he's not, you know, he's like the Puff Daddy now. You know, and I'm not talking about Diddy. I'm talking about when he was Puff Daddy. He told you he's not a rapper. He's an entertainer. Floyd Mayweather's not a boxer anymore. Consider Floyd Mayweather to be a gimmick. Floyd Mayweather knows that fighting Conor McGregor would bring him $100 million. Okay, I'm going to say $70 to $150 million. It breaking the Maypac record. Don't be a fool. The fight's going to be uncompetitive. It's just that the build-up, the press conferences, and all the shit talk is going to be competitive. Go follow Conor McGregor on Twitter. Now, even if you're not a boxing fan, now I have to give credit to a friend of mine, Anthony Gonzalez, over at Real Combat Media. He was the first person that told me 2 years ago, you know, start checking out Conor McGregor. You know, he's the UFC guy. So what I've noticed is Conor McGregor can sell a fight. He can talk. In wrestling, in pro wrestling, they call it mic skills. Conor McGregor got mic skills. He can sell a fight. So the trash talk between him and Floyd Mayweather will be epic. You got Conor McGregor right now tweeting that he runs boxing. Now listen, a lot of people how can I put it? How can I put it? How can I put it? A lot of people are boxing fans, but yet they don't follow the or they don't fully understand the politics in boxing. Boxing has a lot of politics, and if you don't understand the politics in boxing, the political landscape which runs boxing, then you're going to be saying a lot of dumb shit, you know, and you're going to be, you know, left like out of the loop. Floyd Mayweather has been known to say shit, and his fans just run with it. You know, Floyd Mayweather will say some shit, you know, that when it comes to the boxing landscape and community makes no complete sense. But yet, you know, people are like, well, Floyd said he should move up. But let's just let's keep the conversation isolated, and let's talk about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Conor McGregor has contacted Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach, go check out the interview on Fight Hub. Shout out to Fight Hub, which is, in my opinion, the only boxing media website that in Radio Raheem's interviews at 100 are the only basically just go check out Fight Hub's interview with when they're talking about Conor McGregor and Freddie Roach. And the first thing for Conor McGregor to do is, if the boxing match with Floyd Mayweather is in negotiations, is what do? You hire a boxing trainer, because Conor McGregor has had not one professional boxing match, which makes it just more of a joke. So he's contacted Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach basically thought it was a joke. So we don't know for sure if Freddie Roach is going to be the trainer of Conor McGregor. Maybe Freddie Roach blew that chance, but with Freddie Roach's experience with having, you know, multiple fighters fight Floyd Mayweather and all lose, he would be, you know, somebody that I would think about calling. Secondly, when it comes to Dana White and the UFC has been rumored, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, to be on sale. Now, you would be foolish to think that Dana White wouldn't want Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Now, put your promoter's hat on and put your business mentality hat on and think what a Mayweather versus McGregor fight would do, not only for the UFC, promotional-wise, but for boxing. You'll somewhat be merging two sports fan bases, to whereas you'll have UFC fans and boxing fans buying Mayweather versus McGregor. Because I understand people say, you know, well, I'm not going to buy that shit. I don't want to see that shit. That shit is some bullshit. He should be fighting Keith Thurman, or he should be fighting Golovkin, or he should be fighting blah, 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 blah. You're going to buy the fight. You're going to buy the fight. So from a business standpoint, look at it like this. Just subtract Dana White and Conor McGregor from the UFC, and voila, you have Dana White as the promoter of Conor McGregor. So, you know, it's things like that you have to look at from all ends. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. So you got to look at it from a promotional standpoint. You would have boxing fans who would be introduced to Conor McGregor. There's no telling how many boxing fans who've never watched UFC before or mixed martial arts would say, hey, I like this guy. I'm going to watch this guy's fights, even if he does lose to Floyd Mayweather. You're creating new fans right there. And I'm just simplifying it and keeping it, you know, at its simplest forms. Conor McGregor's last fight, in which I've covered, he was 170 pounds plus. Cutting down to 147 pounds is going to be a steep cut. I wouldn't be surprised if the fight is at a catch weight of 150 pounds. But, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that the fight is going to happen. You even have Floyd Sr. You even have Floyd Sr. talking to him about fighting some MMA fighter. Floyd Sr. didn't even know who Conor McGregor was. Well, like I said, it's really, you know, Floyd Mayweather's confirmed it himself. He says it's not just a rumor. You know, he just told Steve Farhood, absolutely, the fight's going to happen. What other fucking answers do you need? Remember, he told reporters right to their faces, that absolutely I'm going to fight Andre Berto. It's going to be Andre Berto or Kareem Mayfield. And Lord knows, he fought Andre Berto. He told you it's going to happen. So look at it like this. A lot of hardcore boxing fans and boxing fans in general are pissed off and going to be pissed off at Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather's boxing career is over. It's over. Floyd Mayweather is fighting the fights that would make him the most money. I wouldn't be surprised if Floyd Mayweather fights Brock Lesnar. You know, if they pay him $60 million from the WWE, I'm not saying it will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to fight Brock Lesnar, you know, or fucking Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or some shit. I wouldn't be surprised. That's where his career is at right now. That's where his career is at. So read between the lines. Twitter is your friend. Look at what Floyd Mayweather's been saying. Look at the actions of Conor McGregor, and all the signs are there. And to point out what I was saying earlier is I talked to some people, and they're saying, yeah, he's not bullshit. He's going to fight Conor McGregor. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know, he's not bullshitting. So one of the biggest hurdles is people are saying, how is Dana White's going to be involved? Well, of course he's going to get some type of cut. And him, before the new T-Mobile Arena opened up, the one that Canelo knocked out Amir Khan in, before it was even built, when it was just dirt, Floyd Mayweather and Dana White broke ground on like at that venue. They have stake in that venue. So, you know, I really honestly don't know like what else to say about the situation. Like, the fight is happening. You know, it's a shame, but the fight is happening. Now, Floyd Mayweather is, in my opinion, going to knock Conor McGregor out, even though he hasn't produced the knockout since Ricky Hatton and Victor Ortiz. I feel he's going to knock him out because Conor McGregor is not a boxer, and Floyd Mayweather should knock him out. It's just like Conor McGregor is going to have to learn so much in a short period of time that Floyd Mayweather's forgotten. Don't be surprised if Conor McGregor break character and probably try to kick Floyd or some shit, try to choke him out. But with the Irish fan base, the fight's going to sell. Somebody asked me on Twitter, would the fight do Canelo Mayweather versus Canelo numbers? I don't think so, but I think pretty close. I think the fight may do 2 million buys. I think so because of the merger of fans. But realistically, UFC fans are going to give Conor McGregor more of a chance than boxing fans. Boxing fans know that Floyd Mayweather is just going to just run straight through Conor McGregor. But you know, those UFC Conor McGregor fans may think that he has a puncher's chance. Now, should the fight be in Dallas, it's not going to be in. It's a shame, but Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight outside of Las Vegas for, you know, reasons that people don't bring up anymore. But Xylocaine, you know, Floyd, and plus this is on Floyd don't fight outside of Vegas. But as I was saying, what time is it? I only been here for like 20 minutes. It's a random Saturday. I don't do videos during the week like I used to. I'm going to be getting back to that, but I don't really feel like explaining the same shit over and over again. Well, I guess I got to. I'm going through a transitional phase where I just don't want to half-ass cover boxing anymore. You know, I wanna be able to incorporate all the things I've learned, you know, over the years. So I'm gonna get back to doing videos every day, but I'm behind the scenes working on a website. I'm behind the scenes working on a website. Did I say 2 billion? I meant 2 million. I'm behind the scenes working on a website, and I'm not just working on a website just to have a website. It's going to be a meaningful website that brings shit, you know, that brings shit to the community that you need. When it comes to boxing news and sources, and you know, I know everything that's going on. You know, I got, you know, people that tell me shit. I know everything about the political landscape. I know why fights are not going to happen. I know what fights can happen and what fights can't. Floyd Mayweather just keeps bringing up the fact that Golovkin should move up. Now, here's where things get interesting. There's like a race war going on, to where race is plays a big part in the boxing community. Now, I'm not saying that there's not racism in boxing. I'm not saying that there's not racism in boxing. I'm pretty sure there is. I know there is, but it's being played on by, how can I put it? Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. I feel that if you're a boxing reporter or a boxing journalist, you shouldn't be like, how are you racist or how are you picking sides? For example, I watched a disgusting interview this week where it was an Andre Ward interview where a reporter just was, and I'm just thinking like, yo, like, is that, but then you have to think, well, you know, what about the Mexican versus Puerto Rican rivalry? You don't never hear about, you know, the Puerto Rican promoters always keeping the Mexican fighters down. But I look at it like this. Golovkin is in a situation right now. Gennady Golovkin is in a situation right now where he's the WBA Super World Champion, the IBF champion, and the mandatory #1 contender for the WBC Championship at 160 pounds. There's 3 belts. The only one is Billy Joe Saunders' belt, who majority of fans know he can beat, but Billy Joe Saunders is not obligated or does not want to fight him. So, what logical sense, honestly, what logical sense does it make for Golovkin to move up to 160 pounds to fight anybody? Now, when it comes to the 160 pound, the 168 pound division, there's only really about 3 fights up there as far as championship fights that will really be, in my opinion, somewhat competitive. But it's not even about the 168 pound division. It's about one fighter who's not even in the 168 pound division, who is the crutch of a lot of people's argument, and his name is Andre Ward. Andre Ward is a 175 pound fighter. He's a 175 pound fighter. So he said in interviews that he cannot comfortably make 168 pounds anymore. How is this hard to understand? But yet people say he should move up to fight Andre Ward, even Floyd Mayweather himself. But see, the difference between Floyd Mayweather and the fans is that he's Floyd Mayweather, and he knows that if he says some shit, people are going to run with it. Yeah, he should move up to fight Andre Ward. Just like all that bullshit. Remember the bullshit when people used to be like, you know, Pacquiao should take the 70-30 split. No, Pacquiao should have took the 40 million with no pay-per-view buys. You know, people like, yeah, Pacquiao should have took the 40 million with the pay-per-view buys. Without the pay-per-view buys, he would have been a Andre Ward himself. Okay, I'll say this. It's been going around that HBO has forced Andre Ward to move to 175 pounds because they want him to keep away from Golovkin. Andre Ward didn't say no shit like that. In fact, when a reporter tried to say, when a reporter tried to coax Andre Ward into saying that, he said, "No, that's not what happened. It's not what happened. It's not what happened." But listen, I understand that a fight with Andre Ward and Golovkin is a fight that should happen in the future. I do see Golovkin at one point being at 175 pounds. But honestly, just to simplify the shit, we haven't had an undisputed champion since Jermaine Taylor beat Bernard Hopkins. Just to simplify the shit, what logical sense when he's just 2 fights or 8 months, 8 to 10 months away from having all 4 belts in the division? What logical sense does it make? What logical sense does it make? So, you know, now do I fear that Floyd Mayweather should fight Golovkin? Not really. You know, Floyd Mayweather is a fighter that never weighed 155, 160 pounds before. Like never weighed that shit. Like even during the off season, even when he wasn't fighting. You know, so I can understand where Floyd is coming from. And I can understand where fans are coming from when they say, well, you know, why won't he fight Erislandy Lara? Boxing is still a business. Why won't fucking Floyd Mayweather fight a fucking Keith Thurman? See, you see how you can fucking put people in their place? You see how you can put people in their place and be like, yo, well, since you say this shit, I'm going to say, well, why won't this shit happen? There's rumors going around that Canelo versus Golovkin is official. Well, not official, but it is going to be confirmed for September the 17th, 2016. Now, in my opinion, that's an educated guess because an educated guess would tell you that the fight's likely going to be in September. It would tell you that it's likely going to be on the 10th or the 17th if you're a boxing fan. It's just an educated guess. Shane Mosley, who just so happens to have a fight next week, said that the fight is official. But then Shane Mosley said it was official by posting a Facebook video, a fan-made Facebook video that was made months ago. So don't take Shane Mosley. Don't take Shane Mosley seriously. Don't take him seriously. They say that they're working on a deal. I believe behind the scenes, from all what we've seen, you know, since the last week, they're working on a deal. Golden Boy Promotions has said that they should have a deal in place before the 15-day deadline, which is next Sunday, the 22nd. Actually, it might be the 23rd because I don't think they officially announced the 15-day until the day after or 2 days after Canelo versus Khan. But anyway, not to confuse you, the fight is going to happen. In my opinion, Canelo has nowhere to go for a bigger money fight. It's just about, well, what is going to be in the contract. Now, Canelo may have said that, you know, he'll take the fight at 160, no catch weight. But don't be surprised if Golden Boy sends off a contract that says 155. Golovkin's teams turn it down. Now, this shit can be all behind the scenes. Golovkin's team turn it down, then Golden Boy sends another contract, 156. Golovkin's teams turn it down, then Golden Boy sends another contract for 156.7. Or some old shit like that. Don't be surprised. Now, I would want to see Golovkin, but Lara would have to come to 160, and since Golovkin is A-side, Lara would have to come to HBO. Now, remember, if you give Floyd Mayweather these same things, I'm not saying Golovkin is the same, but I'm just saying respect the A-sides. Respect the A-sides. Respect the A-sides. Also, remember when people was giving me heat when I covered the face-off with Canelo versus Khan, and Canelo said that he would never come in to the ring over 170 pounds, but Amir Khan said he came in at about 180. I'm going to say he came in about 175. But the point I'm trying to make is that's a rehydration of that's a rehydration of about 20 or so pounds. And also during the HBO pay-per-view, there were 4 televised fights on the pay-per-view card. 3 of those 4 fights stepped on the unofficial scales. But guess what fight didn't step on the unofficial scale? Amir Khan and Canelo. You had the Mauricio Herrera fight. They stepped on the unofficial scales. You had the Curtis Stevens fight. They stepped on the unofficial scales. You had the David Lemieux fight. They stepped on the unofficial scales. Who turns down the unofficial scales? Because you know why? That would have sent the boxing community, whether it's YouTube, whether it's websites, that would have gave them so much. They would have been doing videos off of how much Canelo came into the ring at. So what did he do? Don't step on the scales to avoid that. So yeah, I believe the fight is happening. I believe the fight is going to be a success. The talks are that the pay-per-view did anywhere between 350,000 pay-per-view buys and 600,000. In my personal opinion, from the sources that I take seriously, I think that the pay-per-view did about 400,000 pay-per-view buys. I don't think they did that well, which makes me wonder, well, where's the Khan army at? Remember Khan was talking all that shit about, if you fight me, going to be a star, and, the Khan army is going to come over and they're going to get houses over here and get cable packages just so they can buy the pay-per-view to support me. Remember, well, he didn't really say that, but remember he was talking all that shit about his fan base and everything like that? Floyd Mayweather would have been pissed if he fought him and he got those type of numbers, But anyway, I'm sitting here reading your questions. And I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. This is a random video because there's no mainstream boxing on today. So the next subject we're going to move on to is the next thing we're going to move on to now is Alexander Povetkin has failed the drug test. Now, I look at it like this. In my opinion, the fight is already contaminated. It should be canceled. But you have promoters and managers and, even the fighters themselves don't want to lose that money. My bad, I was reading something. First of all, nigga, Vernon, I ain't even say nothing about Wilder yet. What the fuck was you talking about? I didn't even say nothing about Wilder yet. But anyway, I feel that the fight should be canceled because the fight's already contaminated. Wilder has already hinted in the past that he felt that Povetkin was going to juice or was juicing, and even though what was found in Povetkin's system was a drug that he took before it was banned, and also was just such a small amount, still because what's going to happen, especially to the uneducated boxing community, people are going to be like, oh, he was using anabolic. They're going to treat it like he was using anabolic steroids. Now, what the drug that he took does is it's look it up. It's supposed to help with stamina. Something that a fighter would need in a fight. To have them go, 12 rounds. He was caught by VADA. VADA doesn't fuck around, and right now the fight is pretty much up in the air. Now, like I said, do I feel that the fight should be canceled? No. But do I feel it should? Yes. Now, me as a boxing fan, I want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. But right now, it's going to be so much. It's going to be so much contamination now. For example, if Wilder loses, then he's going to be like, well, it was a, he was using whatever he was using. Had to come over to Russia. People have been, no, actually, Wilder himself has said that people who thought that he was going to drop his belt and not to go to Russia are idiots. to me, it's like he's just making the best out of a bad situation. Wilder didn't want to go to Russia. It's just that the Al Heyman money for boxing is not as long as it used to be, and they didn't win the purse bid. So he had to go to Russia. You know, he had no choice. He had no choice. Lomachenko was on PEDs too. What? No. Where'd you hear that from? You can't just be accusing people of shit. But yeah, yo, listen. When it comes to fucking boxing in Russia, you know, I don't trust that shit. I don't trust any American boxers or anybody not from Russia boxing. Listen, Russia. You know, I'm just saying when it comes to any type of performance enhancing drugs, Russia is not the place you want to fight at. You know, Russia, the motherfucker, fucking Rocky, Ivan Drago, he was juicing. You know, just that he was just juicing right there in front of people on cam. But yeah. So what do you guys want to talk about? Like I said, this is a random Google hangout. It also looks like my bad, I'm reading questions. It also looks like Mikey Garcia is going to sign with Mayweather Promotions. Now, let's not forget that when it comes to Mayweather Promotions, understand that Mayweather Promotions, in my opinion, and the opinions of many other people who cover boxing, is really Al Heyman Promotions. So I look at it like, well, Mayweather may be the one enticing Mikey Garcia to sign with him, but it's going to be Al Heyman who's going to basically be managing and putting the fights together for Mikey Garcia. Mayweather ain't fighting McGregor. Are you mad? No, are you mad? He told us it's happening. He told us it's happening. Mayweather's fighting Conor McGregor. You know, listen, I don't want to believe the shit, nor do I want to see the shit. I'll watch the shit, but I'm going to be watching it and discuss. Like, you know, I would have loved to see him, you know, fight a Keith Thurman. I would have loved to see him fight a Sean Porter, you know, a Kell Brook. And I'm talking about fighters in his weight class. A Timothy Bradley. Give me a fucking goddamn Jesse Vargas over a Conor McGregor. But see, it's about the money. You know, so the biggest hype up of the fight is going to be the press conferences and this and the shit talking. Who even wants to see that? He's not a boxer. Okay, rough mush, whatever fucking kind of fucking name is that. I understand you don't want to see the fight, but just think, you know, think about the financial aspect. You know, you got to think how they think. You know, they don't give a fuck about what we think. Think how they think. No, I haven't seen the Broner for Bowling Alley video. I'm behind, man. I'm behind. I haven't seen the Broner Bowling Alley video. Yeah, what the fuck is dude's name? Rough Mush. The fuck is that? That's some type of sexual slang or something? I think Conor going to get stopped too. I think Conor McGregor is going to likely get knocked out. Straight right down the pipe. Like, there's so many things about boxing he's going to have to learn. There's so many things about boxing he's going to have to learn. Don't be surprised if Floyd Mayweather just dance around him too for all the rounds. Okay, now he want to play that. Let me read what this dumb motherfucker said. I ain't earning nothing on seeing that freak show. Why should I care about earning? T-Street, I thought you were a real boxing head. Why you hyping this trash? Shut up. Talking about the news, bruh. Don't shoot the messenger. You ever hear that, cocksucker? Oh, here we go. T-Street don't like black fighters. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm not feeding into this stuff. I'm not feeding into this stuff like I'm not. Like I don't support Andre Ward, even though I talk about the GGG situation like I don't support Terrence Crawford. I'm an Adrian Broner fan. Anthony Joshua. Why don't you go to that other channel, you racist? But yeah, what news are we missing out on? You know, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm behind. Another thing, the heavyweight division is the most exciting it has been in years, with so many names. When you got, of course, Deontay Wilder, you got Alexander Povetkin, you got Anthony Joshua, you got Joseph Parker, you got David Haye, Shannon Briggs, Tyson Fury. You know, of course, you got, you know, fat Andy Ruiz out there. Of course, you got who else? I'm missing somebody. Beat up David Price. You know, you got Huey Fury. HBO is going to televise Fury versus Klitschko too. What I'm hoping is that HBO, even though they had some budget cuts, I'm hoping that HBO doesn't sign one of those fighters, because now you have Anthony Joshua, right, who is signed with Showtime, an American network, the IBF champion, the most lucrative future champion in the division. Now you have a situation where we may not be able to see certain fights because of the network signing up certain fighters. Now, me personally, I'm against network signing fighters. But if you're a promoter or a manager or you're a boxer, you want that network money because that's extra money. Now, you got Luis Ortiz, who is going to be fighting on HBO for, you know, the future. But one thing about Luis Ortiz is the WBA mandatory for the winner of Fury versus Klitschko too. So the good thing about it is you'll be able to see Luis Ortiz versus Fury versus Klitschko too. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder, you know, who definitely fights on Showtime and Showtime PBC, and you have Anthony Joshua, who's now over there. We're already starting to see a divide in the heavyweight division. I'm hearing Andre Ward is going to fight Nathan Cleverly next. Yo, D'Angelo, you're about to get blocked because you're doing some fucking, I was about to call you a name I shouldn't have, but you're doing some coon shit. Like, I hate when people try to, like, keep typing the same shit over to try to get your attention, and they know it's going to get your attention by typing dumbass shit like T Street doesn't like black fighters. You're just looking for attention, and you got it. You happy? Yeah, dude, keep typing the same shit over and over again, trying to get my attention. I mean, he got my attention, but it's like, yo, dog, like, my people, like, you know, people still saying the same shit. When I cover, they be like, T Street don't like Puerto Rican fighters. T Street don't like Scandinavian fighters. How come T Street always talking shit about black fighters? Fuck out of here with that shit, man. That shit is old now, like real old. You don't like PBC because PBC is by a black man. No, actually, it's not true. Actually, you know, despite what you may believe or not, me and the upper brass of PBC are very close. I have a lot of connections within Premier Boxing Champions, so that's just completely not true. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of them people that don't point out the flaws of PBC. PBC has a lot of flaws, but I'm a supporter of PBC. Why? Because I want to see as much boxing as I possibly can. I don't want to see Andrew Selby. I follow him on Instagram and all that shit, but I don't want to see Andrew Selby. That's like Americans' version of Showbox. But yeah, what we pretty much covered everything. You know, we gotta talk about the fights that are happening next week, which you got both of the Charlos. You got Jamal Charlo or Jamal Charlo. I get it confused sometimes. you got the Charlos who are fighting both for titles. One of them is the IBF champion. One of them is fighting John Jackson for Floyd Mayweather's WBC champion. Shout out to John Jackson too. He's a cool dude. You also have Erislandy Lar versus Venice Martirosyan, and for some reason I'm going with Venice Martirosyan. He did surprisingly well in the first fight. And the first fight, depending on how you score fights, was pretty close. Also, another thing, even if Wilder versus Povetkin does happen, they've been having some issues with the networks. Like, Showtime has been having some issues securing the fight. Amir Khan, let me drink some water. Hold on. Hold on. Amir Khan has said that he's got a major fight coming up. No, a major announcement coming up. Now, I don't know how it works like that, but he is still, even though he lost to Canelo in the WBC Championship at 155, he is still the #1 contender for Danny Garcia's WBC, title at 147 pounds. So, and also he's not fighting Kell Brook. Now, this is what I want you to do. Go do some research. Now, you got to go do some fucking deep research. You got to go to the dark web. Go do some research, and you'll find out maybe why Amir Khan doesn't want to fight Kell Brook. Now, me, I know the truth, but it's just not my place, and I will not do it. I know that I believe I know the truth. I'm pretty sure I know the truth, but no Khan ain't asking Canelo for no rematch. That would be suicide. He even said himself that he can't do that to his mom or his wife anymore. The way he got knocked out with the snot flying and everything, and when Amir Khan gets knocked out, he'd be looking comatose. His eyes be all open. I read that boxing TV. And people say shit like, what I've noticed is people say, that shot that Amir Khan took would knock anybody out. That may be true, but it's Amir Khan. It's Amir Khan. So, we don't know, the most delicate of touches would knock him out. His eyes was all open. He took that. It looked like he took that one last gasp, like his soul came out of his mouth. And in fact, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you the replay. I'm gonna show you the replay. It's still hard to watch. It's still hard to watch. He whooped his ass. That poor son of a bitch. That poor son of a bitch. But, money-wise, I don't know why he won't fight. I don't know why he won't fight Kell Brook. I mean, I know why, but, like money-wise, put all that shit aside. Put all that shit aside. I'm waiting for the replay to show. I'm playing it in the background so we can see Amir Khan get knocked out, stretched out cold. Delicate around those whiskers. It was ugly, man. I was scared. I was scared to death for him. His eyes was open. He just was looking up at the brand new arena. Did you peep his face? Like he just was looking like just into nothing.
Now let's take a look at the Alvarez family.
And the thing is, oh man, I was hurt. I'm not gonna lie, I was hurt when I saw that. But there's some debates about the scorecards. Now, of course, you can debate. That's what boxing is about. Me, I had Amir Khan up before the knockout. But many who predicted the fight felt that Amir Khan would probably be winning on the cards, but he just was going to get knocked the fuck out. And that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened. I have these live shows. Now what I'm doing is, until I get back on my regular video schedule, I'm doing these live shows during the fights. During the fights and after the fights. For now. So next week during the Wilder, Povetkin fight, if it's still on, I'll be doing a live stream. During the Landy Lara fight, I'll be doing a live stream. And look at it like, remember that show, Mystery Science Theater 3000, we used to be able to watch the fucking movies with the fucking dudes and shit? That's me. How come you don't criticize HBO? Why don't I criticize HBO? What is there to criticize about HBO? They already, the news about HBO is already out there. HBO boxing is coming to an end, from what I know. Oh, I forgot I wasn't going to answer none of your questions. I can tell what channel you're from, buddy. But yeah, when it comes to HBO boxing, there's budget cuts. HBO boxing may not be around in the future or at the capacity that it is now. Yeah, man, HBO boxing is in trouble. HBO boxing is in trouble. HBO boxing is in trouble. We don't know, okay, Postol versus Crawford is on pay-per-view. That should tell you something right there. That should tell you something right there. Well, the details as far as what's going on with HBO are a little sketchy. But they've been cutting corners on, shows. For example, remember when HBO used to show the weigh-ins on HBO for their pay-per-view fights? Remember when, remember that Pacquiao versus Bradley 3 didn't have no HBO 24/7? Remember that they cut corners with Pacquiao versus Bradley? You get more and more pay-per-view fights now? HBO is not in trouble. That is false. No, it is not false. The budget cuts are evident. Jason Heathcock. What kind of name is that? No, the budget cuts are evident. What's the difference between HBO and Showtime? Showtime has right now a more invested future in boxing. They seem to be investing in boxing for the long run, to where HBO is very careful with the money. HBO is not dying. Don't ever say that. HBO will never die. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. It's just that HBO boxing is slowing down. Here's the thing that's going on with Thurman versus Porter on CBS. Now, if you don't know, Premier Boxing Champions, if it's on national television, that's money that's coming out of Heyman's pockets. But since this fight is a special edition CBS Showtime Championship Boxing, Premier Boxing Champions on CBS, then Showtime is footing the bill for this fight. Now, it's no secret. It's no secret. Don't let any, you know what? If you don't even know how to use the internet, then you're a goddamn idiot. It's no secret that PBC is losing money, or they've lost a lot of money, or they've spent a lot of money. Whatever the case may be, it has been, you can see that they've been cutting back on a lot. They've made a lot of cuts. And with this Thurman versus Porter fight, you see that it's still being branded as PBC on CBS, but it's really Showtime who's paying the bill. You are mistaken, buddy. Name is the one you will see of more, brother. Of brother. See more of, brother. What do you mean? Well, then tell me what I'm wrong about. Explain. Talk in detail, Jason. Relax. Just talk in detail. If you want to debate, we can debate. If I'm wrong about something, I'll admit I'm wrong. Send me some links, bruh. Send me some information. Enlighten me. What do you think about Demetrius Andrade versus Willie Nelson? I'm just glad to see Demetrius Andrade back. And also, I'm glad to see him fighting on Showtime because that opens up more fights for him. For example, he can probably try to get that fight with Charlo again. Bob Arum has said about Crawford versus Postol is that if it does 100,000 buys, he'll be happy. And I think it'll probably do around 100,000 buys. And you know, if that's the expectations, then you know, why can you be mad? How can you be mad at him? Who's a good matchup for Matisse in September? I don't know, because we don't know what division he's going to be fighting at. We don't know if he's going to be fighting at 147 or 140. We know that he dropped out of the fucking Mauricio Herrera fight, and Mauricio Herrera looked like shit against Frankie Gomez. You know, one thing also is that Mayweather Promotions is growing. You know, I'm not just talking about the Mikey Garcia thing. I'm talking about how Al Heyman is having his fighters fight under Mayweather Promotions banner, and Mayweather Promotions is a respectable, you know, promotional company. Saddam Ali is supposed to be back soon. Bob Arum has settled with Al Heyman. No, that's not official yet. And actually, it will be Al Heyman settling with Bob Arum. But no, that's not official yet. Well, here's what I don't like about Cotto. You can say that Cotto himself is a gimmick too. Cotto is just fighting for money. Let me tell you who Cotto tried to fight. Cotto tried to fight Diego Chavez. Cotto tried to fight Ruslan Provodnikov. Cotto wanted to fight Brandon Rios. Cotto right now is just trying to fight for money. You know, Cotto's not fighting to be a champion or anything anymore. Cotto's just fighting for money. Richard Schaefer is not working with Mayweather Promotions yet. That's the rumor. Nothing's official. Nothing's official. Dimitri Pirog had back problems. That's the guy who knocked out Danny Jacobs. Chavez versus Golovkin, tough fight, but I'm gonna go with Golovkin. Chavez Jr. is also rumored to be in talks to fight Gabriel Rosado, and I'm thinking, what weight is it gonna be at? Is Rosado gonna move up to 170 plus pounds? Where at? Send me proof, Ricardo. Send me proof. No, I haven't seen the Adrian Broner robbery video, but if there is one, he's in trouble. But then again, you know, you don't know if the dude, you know, wants to settle out of court or not. No, Kell Brook is supposed to be in heavy negotiations to fight Jesse Vargas next. Kell Brook is in a situation where he has to fight a big fight. He can't fight no more bullshit fights anymore. He can't, you know, not in this point in time in his career. Do you think Pacquiao versus Canelo is possible? Even though you really don't know what to believe from Freddie Roach sometimes, he has said that the fight was offered to him this week. You know, the fight was offered, Canelo versus Pacquiao. But Freddie Roach has said that he would want a rehydration clause of 165 pounds because a 180 pound, you know, Canelo versus a 151 at most Pacquiao is just nowhere near fair. Nowhere near fair. But that's not a good, even though it would be a super fight, it's not a good fight for Canelo's career, because now he's just being looked at as a fighter who fights smaller fighters just to get by. Cuellar. I got Cuellar by upset. Does Canelo have a chance against Golovkin? Of course he does. Of course he does. But I got Canelo. I mean, I got Golovkin just off of boxing ability. Gamboa versus Walters. That'd be a crazy fight. I say Because of the multiple knockdowns outside of the Terence Crawford fight that Gamboa has suffered, I'm going to go with Nicholas Walters. Brooks should travel for Vargas' fight. No, actually, I think Vargas should go to the UK for that fight. Bigger money over there. Kell Brook doesn't have a name over here in the States. Yes, that is Holly Bailey. That is actually what's going on. Oscar De La Hoya, in my opinion, Oscar De La Hoya is afraid to put him in there against Golovkin. Canelo, I feel Canelo wants to fight. But Oscar doesn't want to fight for him. Remember, Oscar didn't want. Oscar was in rehab when Schaefer made Canelo versus Lara. Oscar came out pissed. Oscar didn't want Canelo versus Lara. Eubank stopped Sanders in the rematch. I don't think so. I don't think so. Eubank Jr. has looked better in his couple of fights since, but I don't think that he stops Billy Joe Saunders. I'm sorry. And I'm hearing that fight's in the works. I'm hearing that fight's in the works. Saunders versus Eubank 2. What do you think of Tyson Fury? I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. You must be new. You must be new. No man born from his mother's hole can beat Tyson Fury. Fuck is wrong with you, dude? But I don't like the fact that Tyson Fury's been running his mouth a little too much. Oh, by the way, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Everything I talk about, you know, as far as boxing news, everything is right on my Twitter. The link is right down below in the description box. I don't like how Tyson Fury's been talking about retiring and, you know, all kind of shit like that. You know, he seems to be, you know, I understand like he sells fights. I understand all that shit. But it seems to be he's just talking, you know, too much. Who has Golovkin beat? We know that Golovkin hasn't beaten anyone of note. But if you know boxing and as far as the boxing landscape, you know that these fighters, you know, that he's fought is because no other fighters wanted to fight him. Don't be brainwashed, man. Dude says shout out please, but his name is funny. It's just funny. Oh, okay, FG. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah, Tyson Fury, because one day he'll talk about how he's the best fighter in the world and how he loves the sport and all kind of shit like that. And then he'll talk about how he can retire now and just get fat and drink beer all day. And live in his gypsy trailer. Tyson Fury, even though I don't believe it, Tyson Fury has said that he wouldn't fight Anthony Joshua basically because he wouldn't fight for the IBF title ever again. But I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that shit. Golovkin is not a bum. That's just being disrespectful. He may not have fought anybody, but just to say he's a bum, that's just disrespectful. That's just disrespectful. Dominic Breazeale, in my opinion, does not have a chance against Anthony Joshua. He does not have a chance. I don't know if Golovkin can fight on Showtime. I don't know if he can, I don't think HBO would never let him fight on HBO. I mean on Showtime. Yeah, here's the crazy thing. Guillermo Rigondeaux is now once again the WBA Super World Champion at 122 pounds, which brings to question fans' theory of the fact that they stripped Rigondeaux just so they can have Carl Frampton versus Scott Quigg. You know, they really did Rigondeaux dirty. Rigondeaux is the number one. Rigondeaux is the number one champion for the WBA at 122 pounds. And basically, even though he was having weight issues, you could basically say that Carl Frampton kind of ducked him. What makes Mayweather the highest paid in the world? What do you mean? Did you not watch Maypac? Did you not watch Maypac, bro? Frampton, Santa Cruz. Honestly, in my heart, I'm going with Leo Santa Cruz. And I never picked Leo Santa Cruz for shit. I'm going with Leo Santa Cruz. He's just too big, and he paused, and he just throws too many punches. I'm going with Leo Santa Cruz. I think that Cole Frampton is taking a huge risk stepping up a weight like that. I don't know if Santa Cruz stops Cole Frampton, but I do believe he gives Cole Frampton some problems. Remember late in the fight, in the Scott Quigg fight, those body shots was giving Cole Frampton some problems to the point where he was looking over in the corner at Shane McGREGOR like, yo, I don't know how long I'm going to be to stand up to this. Donaire looked sharp against, I forgot his name, Badak. Jesse Vargas versus Khan? It'll be a good fight. Kind of similar to maybe how the Chris Algieri fight went. Yeah, Golovkin is getting old. No, there's not going to be no replacement for the no, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. There's not going to be a replacement for the Wilder fight, for Povetkin if the Wilder fight is canceled. Saul versus David. Who wins? How? David who? David who? I don't think Maidana's ever fighting again. He's got a nice form with a bunch of cows. He's got that Mayweather money, and that Mayweather money go far over there in Argentina. Does Luis Ortiz KO Ustinov? The height is going to be at okay, Luis Ortiz is going to be fighting Alexander Ustinov. Alexander Ustinov's most notable fight is his loss to Brett Pulev. That's his only loss. Alexander Ustinov has some nice hands. He doesn't have no movement, but he's got nice like hands, like like trading back and forth. He's got some nice combinations. They're waiting for a date. It's likely going to be on HBO, and the winner of that fight is going to fight the winner of Fury versus Klitschko. If there's boxing on, I believe there's Box Nation on tonight. But to me, it's in the mid-afternoon. Actually, after this video, gotta go start doing some work. And then you probably won't see me until probably like maybe the beginning of, next week sometimes. What do I think about Jason Quigley? Only saw him fight twice. And once was, last week on a pay-per-view. Why won't he fight outside of 160? Why? Because he's an undisputed champion. I'm a unified champion at 160 pounds and on his way to be a 160-pound undisputed champion. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, bro. Don't believe everything that people tell you. Yeah, they do need to fix the rankings. But see, here's the thing about boxing rankings. You have the pound-for-pound list, which there's no official pound-for-pound list. Some go by the ESPN pound-for-pound list. Some go by the Ring TV pound-for-pound list. And then you got a whole bunch of other pound-for-pound lists out there. But when it comes to boxing rankings, you have the WBC, who has their own rankings. And then the WBL, the IBF, and the WBA, who all have their own rankings. So how does Canelo beat Golovkin? Canelo, to beat Golovkin, he would have to have a higher punch output And also, he would have to be able to withstand Golovkin's punches to be able to back Golovkin up, to be able to have Golovkin fighting on the back foot. Golovkin's jab is underrated. You know, and I don't think Canelo has the tools in the toolbox. Good matchup, Saunders versus Lemieux. Yeah, that would be it. I would like to see that fight. Brook is fighting Peterson in the UK. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting Lamont Peterson, and I would accept that fight. I would accept Kell Brook versus Lamont Peterson. I don't know what's going on with Amir Khan. He's supposed to be fighting. I forgot his name. Don King was trying to get him a rematch with the guy that beat him. Andy Lee versus Jacobs is not done. Word is Danny Jacobs is going to be fighting as the co-feature to Santa Cruz versus Frampton. And it's likely he's going to be fighting that guy that put that work on Antoine Douglas. Yeah, Granados. Adrian Granados. That's his name. Adrian Granados. Brook versus Malignaggi will be a joke. I heard Paulo Malignaggi was supposed to be fighting somebody. Have y'all heard? He's supposed to be fighting. Paulie's supposed to be fighting somebody. Yes, Don King is still a promoter. He promotes his big fighters are Bamain Stavern and Amir Imam and somebody else. Was it Bundu you heard? I heard Paulie's supposed to be fighting somebody. I'm not sure if it's Bundu. Marquez hasn't officially retired. Marquez is still trying to find a big fight. Now, there was talk of him and Cotto, but Cotto, there was a rehydration clause issue. There was a rehydration clause issue. I'm tired. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Sure is Bundu, Jamie? It sounds familiar. I just heard it a couple of weeks ago, within the last couple of weeks. You sure? Who would win? David Lemieux versus Curtis Stevens. Honestly, I'm really feeling that it will be Curtis Stevens. Yes, I did a video on that. Triple H 1200. WBA did order Lara versus Cotto, but Cotto did turn it down. Yes, they did. And so Cotto basically, which people don't talk about, Cotto basically ducked Lara. Kell Brook versus Spence can happen because the IBF did Errol Spence dirty. Now when Errol Spence fought Chris Van Herden, look it up. That was the IBF eliminator. That meant that was it Van Herden or Gonzalez? I forgot. But one of those fights, Errol Spence won, and he was the IBF mandatory. Now they're saying that he's got to fight this Konstantin Pontamatintin, whatever his name is, I forgot, for the IBF eliminator again. So they kind of did him dirty. I heard a name. I'm not sure, Jamie, but it sounds familiar. I heard a May 17th. Okay. But I heard Paulie's supposed to be fighting somebody with a name. And Paulie's won like what, 3 straight fights or some shit since then? Since he lost to Danny? Like 3 low-key fights. But I'm tired, man. My chest is like burning. Chest is burning. When was the last time I seen a strawweight fight? It was a Japanese fight. And they had like the Street Fighter like graphics and shit and the hype ass commentary. Man, I don't remember. It's been a long time. People say, you know, why don't you cover the smaller weight divisions? For one, majority of them are Asian or Thai fighters, and also it's hard to find the fights televised. You can't even find them on the internet. Can't even find them on the internet. What's going on for Adonis Stevenson? Adonis Stevenson is fighting Thomas Williams Jr. He's the guy that beat Edwin Rodriguez on the undercard of PBC on Fox, Ortiz versus Berto 2. It's officially happening. And then after, so Adonis Stevenson next two fights are already sewn up. Adonis Stevenson is going to fight this Thomas Williams Jr. guy, and then after that, he's got to fight a later Alvarez. Andrade is with Banner Promotions. Actually, he's with Banner and Star Boxing. Yeah, no, Ruslan Provodnikov's mom is disturbing. That junior dude is good. Who, Wilfredo? What are you talking about? Matisse dropped out of the Mauricio Herrera fight for whatever reason. In my opinion, see, if you're talking about what was the best performance of Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to say his win over Marcos Maidana in the first fight. Because that was the defensive excellence, to be dodging all that shit, getting hit all in the arm and the neck. Yeah, Roy Jones is still fighting. Sad to say, Roy Jones is still fighting. For the Forest fighting Joe Smith. Not Joe Smith they used to play in the NBA. He fighting Joe Smith. Word is we don't know for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Adonis Stevenson, but word is he priced himself out of the Stevenson rematch. Can we expect Roman Gonzalez versus Juan Francisco Estrada? Yes, they're actually talking about that fight. HBO is hyping that fight up, but in my opinion, he should go for a title. Have you checked out David Benavidez? Yeah, Dave. Yes, I've seen 3 of David Benavidez's fights. Yes, Harry, dude is good. And it's crazy. He used to be like 250 pounds or some shit. He used to be a fat kid. I'm reading the chat. The chat's going crazy fast. I can't read it all. But this is what I'm going to do for the people who are here now who didn't hear what Floyd Mayweather had to say last night. I'm going to replay it for you in the background so you can hear it.
Fight. Initially placed under the pack. Now with a record of 15-0, Thomas finds himself with an opportunity.
Hopkins is trying to get a fight badly. You know, he was targeting Arthur Abraham. But, well, you know what happened with that? He lost. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get this Floyd Mayweather interview for you again so I can take a break. Go take some asthma meds. Go take some asthma meds. So listen to this interview with Floyd Mayweather, and I'll be right back.
Better the next time you go out and go out and perform.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, in this seat was Jim Gray. You cracked a little window. You gave people a little sign Of course, it got a lot of attention.
Yes, I did.
And then a couple of days later, let's start with Conor McGregor because that sounded like Floyd Mayweather. You said you started that rumor yourself. So that sounded like you're looking for a little attention, though.
Well, it's really not a rumor. The fight may happen. You know, we really don't know as of right now. But do I think the fight will happen? Absolutely.
Really? Are we talking a boxing match or an MMA match?
With the A side, of course, it has to be a boxing match because most fights that Conor McGregor won inside that, you know, inside the octagon, he was a stand-up guy. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a tough fight for me. So we don't really know as of right now, but it's been a lot of talk, and hopefully we can make the fight happen.
You've been the best fighters in the world for 20 years, and you think a guy from MMA is going to give you a tough fight?
He's no pushover. One thing about Conor McGregor, he's no pushover. He fell short in his last bout, but a true champion can always bounce back. So that's a guy that I can't overlook. But you know, no numbers we haven't picked a venue. We haven't talked about money yet. And that's me.
About 100 million, right?
I'm going to get 100 million.
I got $60 I can contribute right now.
Every time I go out, that's my number. Every time I go out and get inside that square circle, it's 100 million or better.
All right, so June 25th, we know Porter's fighting Thurman. That's a big fight at welterweight. When you consider whether you're coming back or not, and you look at the possible opponents out there, money is a given. Your name is money, Mayweather. You're not going to fight unless the money is right. But that aside, how much do you look at what can the opponent bring in terms of your legacy? Is that important?
Well, I'm no longer a fighter. I'm an entertainer, a businessman. And when I'm at home, when I sit back and I really think about it, even though I truly believe in my heart and my soul, and I know that I'm TBE, but being the best businessman on the outside is what I love more than being the best fighter inside.
So now you're TBB, the best businessman.
One of the best fighters to do business on the outside, to be in this situation, and I made some smart investments. I'm able to make, 7 figures a month for the rest of my life. So I'm truly blessed.
Last name I want to throw at you because people talk about it. He's a middleweight. You're a smallish welterweight. Triple G. Not gonna happen.
I just look at a situation like this. Sugar Ray Leonard, he jumped up in weight. Roberto Duran jumped up in weight. Oscar De La Hoya jumped up in weight. Floyd Mayweather jumped up in weight. Pernell Whitaker jumped up in weight. Roy Jones jumped up in weight. So many legendary champions jumped up in weight. I jumped up in weight. When is Triple G going to jump up in weight?
But you're the best?
I proved myself over and over again, and I'm not ducking and dodging Triple G, but I'm a businessman. And my focus right now, if I was to get inside a ring and compete, only guy I'm thinking about right now, business-wise, is Conor McGregor.
All right.
The guy just told you. I mean, he told you that he's no longer a fighter. He's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. He's concerned about being a billionaire. That's what he wants to be. And hey, more power to him. More power to him. But he's not fighting. I mean, he's like, when it comes to Keith Thurmans and those guys, he's not fighting those guys no more because there's nobody that brings in, there's nobody right now, that Floyd Mayweather can come back to fight outside of Manny Pacquiao and maybe Canelo that brings in the money that he wants. Not even Golovkin. Not even Golovkin. You sure Sosa is with Top Rank? Anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? This is Saturday. This video is random as fuck. It's 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not even supposed to be here this early, but of course it's going to be on pay-per-view. What kind of question is that, bruh? Of course it's going to be on pay-per-view. Yes, Mayweather versus McGregor is going to be on pay-per-view. Come on, man. And it's a shame they may not charge us $100 for HD. They may charge us $89.99. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Jason Cruz, are you giving McGregor a chance to win? Wilfredo, are you giving McGregor a chance to win? You think Mikey Garcia will sign with TMT? Yes, I do. Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, listen, my cable bill is high as fuck, man. I post my cable bill on social media because every now and then you get like some asshole who tries to play me, and they be like, "You don't pay for pay-per-views, you stream the fights." No, like there's like streaming is just so. It's not only is it unprofessional for people who cover fights, but also it's inconvenient. You know, I like to be able to pause and fast forward and rewind. You know, I don't have time. I don't have time for that shit, man. I don't have no time. I just can't do it. I can't do it. You know, now don't get me wrong. There's fights that I have no choice but to resort to the internet. There's fights I have no choice. You know, but if I can, you know, I'm buying all fights. And also, like, I have the most expensive cable package you can get. And all I watch is boxing. All I watch is boxing. Will Pacquiao come back? Honestly, I do not know. You know, because Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2 is still a possibility, but it's not a possibility for unless it's like next year. Mayweather-Pacquiao 2 is still a possibility. It's still a possibility just because of how much money it brings. Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2 would still be one of the top 3 selling pay-per-views of all time. Of all time. What would happen if De La Hoya fought Rinky Wright? Rinky Wright was underestimated. Was underestimated. What are your thoughts versus Terrence versus Victor? Honestly, Victor Postol, I've seen numerous fights of his on YouTube before he got, you know, on before he got the Matisse fight, and dude is good. One thing you have to say about Terrence Crawford is Terrence Crawford takes too many unnecessary shots sometimes. I don't know. T-Street, when will the Mayweather fight be? It's going to be sometime this year. They're saying sometime this year. Now, smart money would say September, of course. Smart money would say September. Thoughts on Thurman versus Porter? I'm gonna go with Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman's gonna pull it out. But people are saying that the tenacity and the just the pressure of Sean Porter is gonna give Keith Thurman some major problems. Mayweather McGregor, how many buys? I say 7 million. Mayweather Pacquiao only did 4.4, 4.6 million. 7 million? Get out of here. How far back does my boxing knowledge go? I would say consistently 1996. Consistently. I'm talking about like when I started watching boxing on my own, like consistently on the weekends. Is the Ortiz-Fury fight a slight possibility? No, more than slight. Because if Tyson Fury beats Vladimir Klitschko, which is being televised on HBO, now you have to think, they strategically planned that. Then you have Luis Ortiz, who fights on HBO. He's fighting Alexander Ustinov. If Luis Ortiz beats Alexander Ustinov, he's the mandatory for the winner of Klitschko versus Fury. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I would love to see Tyson Fury beat a Luis Ortiz. So you heard it here. Luis Ortiz versus Tyson Fury is more than just a possibility. What's up with Andy Ruiz Jr.? Well, here's what Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Anthony Joshua, said. Andy Ruiz is ranked very high by the IBF and was somebody that was mentioned to fight Anthony Joshua. But Andy Ruiz doesn't take care of his body, and they didn't want somebody Eddie Hearn said he didn't want somebody that looked like that to fight Anthony Joshua. Who do you prefer, HBO or PBC? What kind of you see? You baiting, you raise baiting, bro. You baiting, you baiting. But if you really want an honest answer, I prefer PBC because of they provide so many fights. Remember last year, we had a PBC fight like every week, at least every 2 weeks. But at the same time, one's free TV, one's network television. I know Fury is not signed with HBO. I said that already in the beginning of the video. I know that already. I know that already. Go check my Twitter. I know that already. Check my Twitter. I see Shane Mosley fighting the Well, here's the thing with Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley has some bullshit underling WBA title. So yes, Shane Mosley is working his way up to possibly fight a big fight. I'm 32. I'm 32. I'm 32 years old. How long have we been live? Anybody know? Can somebody type in how long have we been live? See, here's the thing. I'm heterosexual. I like the sweet nectar of vagina. I don't suck dick. So I like when it comes to boxing and when it comes to PBC, I like PBC. I like Premier Boxing Champions. But I like the concept and the goal of PBC Premier Boxing Champions. But I don't like the fights that they put on. And also I see as a boxing fan the things that they do wrong. I want PBC to stay around forever. You know, even though last year they started off hot, they're not showing as many fights as they were last year. I want them to stay around forever. But at the same time, you know, how you think I was Max Kellerman? Is Max Kellerman black? Max Kellerman black? Actually, Amir Khan was brave taking that fight against Canelo. He was brave because everyone knew he was going to get knocked out. You know, me, I wanted to believe otherwise. Hating on Canelo, I wanted to believe otherwise. I'm saying, no, listen, Amir Khan's going to move, and he's got the boxing ability, man. And listen, but he got knocked the fuck out. He got knocked the fuck out, man. I was lying to myself too. I was lying to myself too. But as I said in previous videos, I don't have any allegiances to anyone. I'm not aligned with any websites. I'm not aligned with any boxers. For example, I'm a big Manny Pacquiao supporter, but after Mayweather versus Pacquiao, I'll tell you a true story. A lot of people don't know, because what happens is when you lose subscribers on YouTube, a lot of people can't see it because you still have more subscribers coming in. I have somewhere around 23-something thousand subscribers. Within the 2 months after Pacquiao lost to Mayweather, because I wasn't feeding into all that, watch the fight in slow motion, make sure you take your HDMI cable out and put your audio, because I wasn't feeding into all that shit, I lost 2,700 subscribers. 2,700. I was like, good riddance. Good riddance. Good riddance. Good riddance. Like, I don't, like, I say what I feel and I say what I know. I don't just go out, you know, just saying shit just so people can listen to me, just so I can be like, you know, yeah, I was right. I told you so. Nah, it's not about that, man. It's not about that. Joshua versus Hay, what happens? I don't know. That's an intriguing fight. I don't know. David Hayes got the experience, man. David Hayes got the experience. David Hayes got the experience. Yeah, I'm blessed not to, Eddie, not to have to work for anybody, not to have to get up. not to have to get up and go to somebody's fucking workplace. Nah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. But I do need to start doing more videos. Is Virgil Hunter going to be trainer of the year? Joe Gallagher already got trainer of the year. So right now, I'm trying to figure out who should be trainer. Well, then again, it's still like the same year kind of fiscally. But like I said, I'm going to be back active again. I haven't been active like I used to. Is because I'm taking care of a lot of things behind the scene for the betterment. It's not even a word people use it of the future of what I do. You know, Heat Raptors game 7. I don't know, man. See, Toronto. If you look at if you look at Lowry and DeRozan, they've been throwing up bricks. Both of them shooting 35% for the playoffs. You know, so they up and down, but they play hard. And you know, you got to deal with 34-year-old Dwayne Wade, who's semi-washed up, but yet he's still putting up 20 plus a night. So it's kind of hard, man. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say. Yes, I know Virgil Hunter is Keisha Cole. That I ain't gonna lie. I'll be honest with you. You know, I used to think that Virgil Hunter was kind of, you know, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if I wanted to, let's not get it twisted. I can do videos like when I do these live videos, I'm actually cheating myself. Because I can chop these up, like the time I do these live videos up, into multiple videos and make more bread. But these like these videos, you know, I'm doing them because I get to talk about so many different things in one sitting. But I am gonna get back to doing, you know, the videos like I used to. But like I said, I stopped doing them for a reason. And when they come back, they're gonna be coming back for sure. Yeah, I played a lot of basketball, and I used to box when I was younger. I'm going Miami game 7. Going Miami in game 7. Yeah, people was pissed. Like when I wasn't talking all that shit, you know, people was like, you know, did you see Mayweather versus Pacquiao in slow motion? Did you turn the lights off? Did you use an HDMI cable or audio video cable? No, turn your contrast up. Pacquiao won. It's like, nah, man. Give Mayweather respect. And then I was pissed when Pacquiao started talking all that shit. You know, I think I want to fight. Go ahead. Talk about the you think I know y'all trying to get attention talking about the other channel, but guess who y'all here watching, bitch? Guess who you here watching? You can talk about the other channels, but guess who you here watching? Watching me, bro. You're watching me. You're watching me. You're watching me. But yeah, I respect all boxing channels. You know, it's just certain things I don't respect is that I don't respect when certain boxing channels do like certain shit to further their agendas. You know, I feel that when you're like a boxing channel, especially if you're interviewing fighters, you shouldn't be doing like no fucking dick eating shit. You shouldn't be doing no dick eating shit. Like, I've proved what I wanted to prove. Like, I've got out there, I've interviewed the boxers. I've done all that shit. And now I'm just waiting to take over. I'm slowly sitting back and watching and plotting. What does Vlad do if he beats Fury? Well, Vlad's the type to fight all his mandatories. So Vladimir Klitschko doesn't duck anybody. So he's going to fight likely Luis Ortiz next. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to if he tries to fight Anthony Joshua. What's on Spike TV? Isn't there UFC on the night? I got UFC Fight Pass about 3 weeks ago, so technically I get all the UFC fights for free. I've interviewed Deontay Wilder, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Angel Garcia, Chris Algieri, Danny Jacobs, Sergio Mora, my team members in interview Mayweather. I mean, it's a lot. I've interviewed everybody you could possibly. I've interviewed either me or my team has interviewed them all. But me personally, I've interviewed a lot. On the channel, all you gotta do is go to the channel and go to where it says interviews. I have a whole section. I have a whole section dedicated to, you know, all the interviews of the channel. But I really don't like interviewing too much. You know, I do need to do more interviews, and of course once the website is launched, there will be more interviews. But it's not something, you know, that I enjoy because, for one, a lot of times, you know what a lot of these motherfuckers are going to say? They all say the same shit. I don't listen to no fucking Drake, bruh. I don't listen to Drake. Sorry, bro. I don't listen to that shit. For one, I don't got no girl. I'm single as fuck. Fuck, I'm listening to Drake for so I can feel bad about why I don't got no girl. Who's the pound for pound best at the moment? See, it depends on how you rate your pound for pound list. And right now, my #1 pound for pound is Andre Ward as far as active boxers. As far as active boxers, Andre Ward. Spence did not duck Kell Brook. Not yet. Will you ever come to the UK for a fight? Yes, I will. That is something I'm planning in the future. That is something I'm. What album am I bumping? Patti LaBelle. No, Michael McDonald. Luther. Jones Cormier. That's not tonight. That's not tonight. I already told you what albums I'm bumping. Yeah, Andre Ward is my #1 pound for pound right now. Right now. And then let me see who's #2. I'm going to say Andre Ward. I'm not going to say Canelo. #2, see, you have to put Roman Gonzalez up there, but he's not my #1. He's not my #1. No way. I think Eddie Hearn was bullshitting because why? Is because they ordered they ordered Errol Spence to fight another mandatory. Yeah, I do want to see Cyborg fight. I do want to see Cyborg fight. And I think she's fighting at 140 because Rousey fight at 135. I think she's fighting at 140. Eddie Hearn is one job talking motherfucker. Do you think Canelo versus Golovkin can fill up the Dallas Stadium? No. Unfortunately, no. What do you think of heavyweight Joseph Parker? I think Joseph Parker is very good. He fights Carlos Takam next week. The winner of that will be the IBF mandatory for the winner of Brazil. Well, Joshua versus Brazil. Who should Bradley fight next? Honestly, I think Timothy Bradley should go for the winner of Vargas versus Kell Brook. That way he'll be able to get 2 belts. But you never know with Timothy Bradley. I wouldn't be surprised if Timothy Bradley moves to 154. Who can Ward fight in July? Well, there's a lot of possibilities of who he can fight in July, but it's who he will want to fight in July that will present a test. I'm hearing that he's going to fight Nathan Cleverly. Nathan Cleverly is a good, solid fight for him. So because Brook has the IBF title, does that mean his fight night weight can't go past 157? When it comes to when it comes to the IBF, I forgot, but they do have some type of stipulation for the day of weigh-in, not fight night, but the day of. No, he can't fight Fonfara because Fonfara's fight's already booked up. Fonfara's fighting Joe Smith, so it can't be Fonfara. I would love to see Andre Ward versus Fonfara. Well, this is going to be Joseph Parker's toughest fight of his career by far. And Carlos Takam is not is not a bum. HBO pay-per-view is not on decline because of PBC. HBO pay-per-view or pay-per-view in general is on decline because of streaming. And just the internet, just the internet, not because of PBC. I don't see how free boxing PBC would affect HBO pay-per-view. I don't see that. So when you retire from boxing, what do they do with the belts? They don't do nothing with the belts. You keep the belts and they just make a new one to give to whoever the champion is going to be. You keep the belts. You just keep the belts. Oh, man, I'm tired, man. But then again, it's not like late. It's not like nighttime. I know it's cold as fuck in here. Hold on 1 minute. Anyway, I've already been on for almost 2 hours already. I said I was going to come on. Did you know that Luke Campbell don't got no teeth? Luke Campbell don't got no teeth. When did they strip Floyd against what? Floyd didn't pay the sanctioning fees for the WBO title. So he won the WBO title, but burnt them out of like $300,000. Some old shit like that, so they stripped him. And the WBA was going to strip him anyway because he was going to be mandated to fight Timothy Bradley. Do you think Brian Jennings' career is at Bryant? Not Brian. No, his career is not done. Brian Jennings has a lot of heart, and he's so far his last 2 fights have been exciting. Canelo says belts doesn't mean anything. He's a Mexican boxer. Of course the belts mean something. How do I rate Dominic Breazeale? Well, I don't rate Dominic Breazeale very high. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets knocked out. Can George Groves win a world title? Well, after failing to win the IBF title from Carl Froch, after failing to win the WBC title, now he is going after the WBA title, who I forgot who the champion is, at 168 pounds. So, yes, if he continues on the path that he's going, he's likely going to win the WBA title or fight for the WBA title. Should Victor Ortiz retire? Victor Ortiz is done. Victor Ortiz is like when you get an extra value meal, you know, like a number 6 from McDonald's, it's just not all there. Victor Ortiz is not all there. Like what you get the burger, the bag and some napkins. Just no straw, no drink, no fries. That's Victor Ortiz. Just not all there. Just not all there. David Hayes having issues because him, you know, without a big promotional backing, he doesn't have the fighter. I mean, he doesn't have the money to pay the fighters that he wants to pay them that he wants to fight. So that's why he's fighting guys like who I forgot his goddamn name, Ganja. That is true. Brian Jennings doesn't have as much power. Canelo versus Lara 2, Jessica, is not happening. I'm sorry. Golden Boy is not going to allow that fight. Oscar De La Hoya said at the post-fight press conference, that was 2 years ago, that no, it's not happening. Nope. It's not happening. I would want to see the fight, though. Is Kid Chocolate done? No. I'm actually surprised he's not back in the ring at this point in time. But ever since he dropped this belt, people predicted, like, man, what if you don't get a chance to win another belt again? Andre Berto versus Danny Garcia, interesting fight. Being from Philly, I'm giving Andre Berto the edge. We're giving Andre Berto the edge. Giving Andre Berto the edge. I wouldn't say Danny Garcia is overrated, but Danny Garcia's days seem to be numbered. His days seem to be numbered. Andy Lee, Andre Ward, I'm not answering that question. Who asked that question? I'm surprised I entertained it. Here's what the WBA said they were going to do. They said that if Canelo and Golovkin couldn't reach a deal, that they would order Golovkin versus Jacobs. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't think that boxing should work like that. I think that you should order the fight when it's necessary. Yeah, I do believe Danny Garcia would KO Amir Khan again. Danny Garcia right now is in a tough spot because all the fights now have to be nothing but big fights. Robert Guerrero, I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Guerrero fights Victor Ortiz or somebody like that. Robert Guerrero is like a gatekeeper now. Robert Guerrero is a gatekeeper. He's the keeper of the gates. He's got all these keys. He's got that fucking round ring with all the keys on it. That's what he's got. Of course, I think a lot of heavyweights can beat Luis Ortiz, but, you know, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. Anyway, what are you guys talking about? Y'all talking about, like, real shit? I'm reading the chat, and it's just going fast, and I can't, you know, I'm seeing, like, dumbass questions and bullshit logic. Errol Spence versus Canelo. I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. A union for fighters? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Steve Cunningham's 39 now. He lost his last fight. So that's why this main event is so intriguing for me, because we have fighters who are 25, 26 years old looking to crack that cruiserweight top 10. We take a look at my cruiserweight top 10, and you're going to see a division dominated by foreign-born fighters. You don't see an American in there. Povetkin, a very, very exciting fighter. He's number one because he beat Marco Huck. Marco Huck has also been very exciting. Another fighter to watch for, Alexander Usyk, from the Ukraine, who's an Olympic gold medalist and undefeated and moving very quickly. But American fight fans don't know most of these fighters. They don't fight that often on American television. So someone from America needs to break through. And in both of our co-main events tonight, I think there is the chance, at least, that one of these fighters can near the top 10. Michael Hunter is the son of the late Mike the Bounty Hunter, who was a damn good heavyweight in the late 80s and early 90s. He was managed, by the way, by the actor James Caan. Hunter now has a chance to make his own name. The 2012 U.S. Olympian has advanced as a pro without much fanfare. He's 11-0, Tonight he faces an opponent who's been in with much tougher opposition than he has. This is his first big test and a chance to at least approach the top 10. Allow me to name drop for a moment. 27 years ago, Isaiah Thomas was born and named after the star point.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, I'm reading questions now. I'm going to be on for about another 15 minutes or so. For those who haven't, please subscribe. Next week, I'm really hoping that the Wilder versus Povetkin fight does happen. We don't know if it's officially canceled or not yet. Also, we have Charlo versus Trout, Charlo versus Jackson, and Laura versus Martirosyan 2. I'm going to be doing a live stream during. But yes, I love tits in my face too. I'm going to be doing a live stream during that fight. And what we do now on the channel is, you know how people put like full fight into their fucking titles and shit? Well, what I do is we do a full fight discussion where we sit back together and we watch the fight here real time. So you get real time reactions. So I'm just, you know, challenging people to step their game up. So it's 3 o'clock now. I've been on for just a little under 2 hours. Any questions you guys have, I'm going to be here to answer all your boxing questions. And then after, I'm going to take a nap, get up, play some 2K, some Fallout, then go home and go from there. Okay, so let me put this on then. You know, so we're gonna discuss this over again since you guys are probably gonna watch Deadpool. Probably gonna order that. That's what we're probably gonna do. Watch Deadpool like a boss. Ooh.
No more of that consternation that you saw around.
We don't know when Rigondeaux's fighting again. I'm on PS4. I'm not playing Doom. Doom doesn't look cutting edge to me. It doesn't look, you know, I don't like the way it looks. I'm on Twitch too.
2 minutes, 37 seconds, round number 6. Your winner by KO victory and stay on. WBC Ring Magazine Millennial Middleweight Champion of the World, Saul Canelo.
I do think Pacquiao will fight again.
Final CompuBox numbers. Alvarez lands 16 more total punches, throws 4 more, lands at a higher connect percentage. A lot of that was because
we're just waiting for the post-fight interview for the guys who, you know, then we're going to debate that. And yes, I did see Civil War. I saw Civil War 2 times. And Captain America 3 was the shit. And Batman versus Superman did suck, especially the fight. It sucked. What about Lucien Boute's next opponent? I don't know who Lucien Boute is going to fight next. You have to understand he's had 3 straight title fights. 2 straight title fights. You know, against James DeGale and Bado Jack. So where does he go from here? I don't know. Caleb Smith is very good. In my opinion, as I said before in the video, even though it may be controversial, I have Caleb Smith beating James DeGale, Bado Jack. I do. J-Rock has the winner of Trout versus Carlo. Yes, he does. Listen to this.
Let's start at the beginning. Did he surprise you with his speed early?
Desde un principio lo dije, él es un peleador rápido que los primeros asaltos se me iba a complicar. Pero como lo dije, también tengo la experiencia para poder descifrarlo y solamente estaba esperando el momento oportuno y fue lo que pasó.
like I said from the beginning, you know, he's a fast fighter, he's very fast, and I knew that things were going to be complicated from the beginning, but I knew the time would come to my favor, and obviously you saw that.
time seemed to come to your favor, not only because you were bigger and stronger, but also because of your boxing skills. As the fight wore on, you seemed to be able to make him miss and counter more effectively. Can you talk about the skills that you showed in this fight?
Sí es, como lo dije, muchos peleadores se basan nomás en que tengo poder, pero tengo muchas más cosas arriba del cuadrilátero y es cuando lo ven, cuando ya están enfrente de mí.
You know, many people focus on my power and talk about my power, but I've got many more qualities in the ring, and people see that, and that's what happened in the ring.
Me gusta sorprenderlos.
I like to surprise everyone.
Well, speaking of that, you seem much more comfortable with a fighter who comes at you than a fighter who runs away. Why is that?
Creo que sí, siempre es más complicado un peleador que boxea rápido, es más complicado, ¿no? Un peleador que viene hacia el frente, que viene a pelear, se da una bonita pelea, y eso todo el mundo lo sabe, ¿no? A cualquier peleador se le dificulta un peleador así.
You know, a boxer, someone that comes into box, obviously gives you more trouble, obviously. But, you know, someone that comes to attack and comes to press you, gives you the opportunity to have a very, very nice fight. But obviously it's difficult when someone boxes.
There's a guy ringside watching this fight tonight who comes to attack. Triple G.
Yo lo invité a que subiera.
I invited him to come to the ring.
You invited him to the ring? Why?
Yo lo invité a que subiera. Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. No hay que... Los cinturones aquí se hacen a un lado. Hay que pelear por honor y por gloria nada más.
I invited him to the ring. Like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around. We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
You don't have to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now, I'll put on the guns again.
Gracias. Gracias a toda la gente. ¡Viva México!
Thank you, Canelo. Congratulations. Jim?
So, yeah. I heard that the translator was pretty shitty. So what did I miss? What do I miss? Anyway, like I said, I support all boxing channels. I watch their content as far as interviews and stuff. Now I can't watch other people do like videos like where they're talking and shit. I can't do it. But I support all boxing channels. And I feel that the YouTube, well, let's listen to this first. Let's listen to this.
What were you thinking as that fight wore on?
First of all, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. And, you know, I mean, I'm one of them fighters, you know, I'll step in the ring with whoever. And I think it's time now where Canelo needs to step in with Triple G because everyone's been waiting for that fight. So I showed my ball by getting in the ring and getting in the ring with a big guy. But look, I mean, this is boxing. I want to go out there as a champion. I was looking forward to
Joseph Parker beats Lucas Brown.
I didn't make it to the end. But I tried my best, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who turned up here. And I want to say thank you for the support.
Given how well you fought tonight against a much bigger, naturally bigger guy, younger guy, you mentioned to us in the past that you need that kind of challenge to bring out the best in you. Are you going to go down in weight now? Are we going to see this Amir Khan at your natural weight?
No, I mean, I'm naturally a 100+ fighter, and this challenge.
No, you're not.
And it was very hard to turn down. I want to be the best. I want to fight the best. So that's the reason I took this fight. But look, I'll probably be going down. I mean, my natural weight is 147. I'll be probably going down to that.
He took the risk. He gave up everything. No concessions. Now it's time for him to take the risk and quit hiding behind little stuff, okay? Amir took the risk.
Why is it important for you guys that Canelo takes that risk against Triple G? It seems personal.
Because he set the tone. Amir set the tone. Fighters should fight each other. We're setting the tone. He took the risk. He did it. He got to quit hiding behind the flag and fight Triple G.
We all hope to see that fight happen. Amir, it's always a pleasure to watch you fight. Jim?
Yeah, he set the tone. You know, he set the tone. David Haye beats Shannon Briggs. David Haye beats Shannon Briggs. Did you guys hear about the pay-per-view buys? Word is the pay-per-view was a failure. You know, and honestly, I expected Amir Khan's Khan Army and all those fans that he was talking about to come over here and support the fight. But they didn't. They didn't. Khan did just lie about his natural weight. No, the Canelo versus Golovkin fight is not officially signed. They are negotiating behind the scenes. So whatever date you heard, if you heard that as official for if you heard it's official 17th, it's not official yet. That may be the numbers, that may be the date that people are saying, but nothing's official yet. Nothing's official yet. Nothing's official yet. You have sources that saying that the fight did 360,000 pay-per-view buys. Then you have other sources saying that the fight did 600,000 pay-per-view buys. So I'm going to say look right in between the middle. Look right in the middle. But if I was to say anything, I would say, well, Amir Khan completely sold this fight as far as I got these fans that'll buy the fight. You know, they really believe that Amir Khan had like all these fans, you know, and it just turns out it wasn't true. But then again, we don't know what the Box Nation numbers are. We don't know whatever. Rick Glasser is how can I put it? We're friends. I've had some correspondence with him, and how can I put it? How can I put it? You don't know what to take serious. You don't know for sure when it comes to him. Now, of course, he has a lot of sources, but you don't know for sure. And when it comes to boxing scene is Jake Donovan who wrote that article. Follow me on Twitter. I'm telling you, I know all this shit. I'm telling you. When it comes to the sources from boxing scene, that's Jake Donovan. But yet, Jake Donovan kind of relies on Kevin Iole a little bit from Yahoo Sports. So, you know, you got to be careful what you read. But when it comes to the pay-per-view buys, nobody knows for sure. But one thing for sure is that the pay-per-view didn't do what was expected. It didn't do what was expected. I'm tired, yeah, man. I'm tired. These Google Hangouts are stressing, man. These Google Hangouts are stressing. I don't got no woman, so I just do these Google Hangouts, and I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Phone is going crazy. Fucking 18 text messages. 18. Not reading that shit. I've already talked about Kell Brook versus Errol Spence. Jizza. Jizza? Is that a name? Nah, Jizza? Sounds too much like jizz. We all know what jizz is. Right? Right? But let's chat, man. What do you want to talk about? How can they consider UK buys when Box Nation is a subscription channel, which gets a lot of fights? True. Well, I guess Box Nation can count. Of course, Box Nation will be able to view how many people watch that telecast live, you know, and also the new subscriptions. Jazza Dickens was going to fight Rigondeaux. He ain't no bitch. Shane Mosley should hang it up. He's broke. Not really. Shane Mosley does have some financial troubles, and Shane Mosley is now Shane Mosley Tupac, but not really. Jizza English for Jeremy. Oh, okay. Okay, Jeremy. All right. How much did Khan make? $2 million? Nah, he made more than that. Wilder should get a larger purse than Povetkin fine. That is true. See, here's the thing. Now, no disrespect, man. No disrespect for the people who are watching over there in the UK or down in Puerto Rico. See, James DeGale's sister is sexy as fuck, but she kind of looks like James DeGale. So therefore, you got to think she look like a nigga. So you know, don't get me wrong. You know, she's sexy as fuck, but it's like, you know. But then when it comes to Cotto wife is sexually attractive. Cotto wife is sexually attractive, but not like attractive up in the grill, like not like attractive up in the face. You get me? Like Cotto wife is this is a little R-rated. Cotto wife is the type. Don't get mad, Cotto. Cotto wife is the type that, like, damn, I fucked the shit out of Cotto wife. You see, like she like that. But you're not really thinking about wifing Cotto wife. You're thinking about smashing. But when it comes to James DeGale's sister, you're like, damn, that bitch fine in the motherfucker. You wanna, you know, you wanna take her to a nice seafood dinner. And talk about shit. So it all depends, man. It all depends. It all depends. I ain't never see Slaka Yobika's wife. And I forgot what Carl Froch's wife looked like. In fact, is that even Carl Froch's wife? Did he marry her finally? No, James DeGale got some white chick. That's his wife. But yeah, James DeGale's sister finer than the motherfucker, man. Especially when she get like that concerned look on her face. You're like, damn, bitch. You see, that's the thing. Cotto's wife is sexy as fuck. Like as far as penetration. But, you know, do you play boxing in video games? What, the only one fight night champion? Yes, I do. Yeah, you know, something about Cotto's, I don't want to say anymore, but something about Cotto's friend ain't never sit right with me, man. I never liked that dude, man. I never liked that dude, man. Not that guy, man. Just don't sit right with me. Yeah, I've been streaming too long. I've been streaming too long. I've been streaming too long. But anyway, what you want to talk about? Since we're here, I'm just here now. This is not even a boxing chat anymore. I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just here now. This is just a chat. This is just a chat with the controversial one. What do you want to talk about? Your Fight Night Champion always crash on Xbox 360 for some reason. Because you need to get a new disc, bruh. You got to get a new disc. Or install it to your hard drive. Fury versus Clit. I got Fury, of course. This stream is going from boxing to bitches. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we're a little late in the stream. This is a little untasteful. People are getting pissed off and leaving. They're like, we don't want to talk about bitches. We want to talk about boxing. But at the same time, this stream is really running a little too long, but I just don't have anything else better to do. So I figure I'm just going to stay on here a little longer and talk to you guys. Even though I want to quit. I want to quit like shit. I want to turn this stream off. My favorite fighter, of course, is Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Muhammad Ali would destroy Mike Tyson. Prime Muhammad Ali would destroy Mike Tyson. But prime Mike Tyson would destroy these boxers today. Mike Tyson's head movement was crazy. Mike Tyson's head movement was crazy. What about ESPN Fight Night lineup? Yes, that is true. ESPN, well, PBC on ESPN is returning. They have, they have a nice amount of dates lined up. Look it up on line, and you can see why PBC on ESPN hasn't been on is because of the NBA playoffs and things like that. Also, I do miss Friday night fights. You're going to get boxers who say, well, why do you miss Friday night fights? They had no budget and poorly produced fights. It was something about Friday night fights that just was good, whether the fights was, you know, whether they had little budget or not. There was something about Friday night fights that just was good. Friday night fights is missed. Would you tap Jinky? Of course I tap Jinky. Of course. Sorry, Manny. But of course. Jinky would get it. Do you have respect left for Chavez Jr.? Yeah. Chavez Jr., you know, I still have a soft spot for Chavez Jr. Still have a soft spot. Bad Medina or Miss Jackson? Miss Jackson, by far. By far. Bad Miss Jackson. Bad Medina, bad because she's Bad Medina, but Miss Jackson, by far. By far. I'm going to be wrapping up in 15 minutes. I'm going to be wrapping up in 15 minutes. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about? Chavez Jr. be training in his house. I'm surprised Freddie Roach accepted him back. You missed a lot, Tony. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. Klitschko White, she looked like she's underdeveloped. She's like damn near 30, but she looks like 14. She got a body of a 14-year-old. I don't like her. I'll pop, but I don't like her. No problem, Biko. No problem, bruh. No problem. But seriously, guys, I'm going to be stopping this. And I'll see you guys next week. Follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, of course. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. And right now, I didn't talk about everything I wanted to talk about. There's no reason to continue. That's it.